Yeah.
Hi, Rich. My
Hello.
name is Marissa.
Hi, Marissa.
I'm an occupational therapy student, and I'm just going to be interviewing you today and getting kind of an idea about your roles, routines, and habits.
Okay.
First, before we start, are you familiar with occupational therapy?
Somewhat.
Okay, yeah. So basically, it's just kind of a profession we call activities of daily living, brushing your teeth, washing your hair, walking a dog, like anything that has meaning to you, we call those occupations. And we're just going to try to help you get back to being independent in all of your occupations that you complete day to day.
Mm-hmm.
So, first of all, can I ask you, do you currently have any health concerns?
No.
No? Okay, awesome. And then just to get started, can you tell me a little bit about your daily routine? Just what it's like from waking up?
Sure. So when I wake up, I do some stretches in bed.
Okay.
Because I run marathons, so I'm
Okay.
not as springy in the morning, if you
Right.
will. Then I stand up and do some stretches before I get ready for my run.
Right, okay.
And it takes me a lot longer to warm up now than it did like 10, 15 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So I do a lot of dynamic stretches like lunges, etc.
Okay.
Then I go for my run, anywhere between 5 and 10 miles
Okay.
on a weekday. Then after that, shower, shave, change, and hop in the car to go to the train station. I'm sitting a lot.
Okay.
I sit a lot on the train, which is like an hour one way.
Right.
And then the walking I do in the city is from the train station to my office. And then, of course, at my office, I sit a lot. But we do have stand or raised desks. So
great.
if we wanted to, some people stand all day. I kind of do 2/3 sitting, 1/3 standing.
Right.
And then the commute home. So walk to the train station, sit again for an hour, and then at home, it's kind of a mix. I'll sit to eat dinner, but also hang out on the couch with the kids or do some
Right.
wrestling with them. So some activity in the evening with the kids, and then I just kind of relax until it's time to go to bed around 9:30 or 10 o'clock.
Great. And then what time are you waking up in the morning?
Usually between 5 and 5:15.
5:15. Great. And then your walk from the train station to your office, about how long is that?
It's about 3/4 of a mile.
3/4 of a mile.
Maybe probably less, probably like 0.7, 0.6.
Okay. And then also you mentioned having kids. How many kids do you have?
3.
3. Okay, great. And their ages?
We have twins that are 6.5 and a 3.5-year-old.
Okay. Great. And then tell me a little bit, we're fortunate enough to do the interview in your home, but can you tell me a little bit about the setup of your home?
Sure. Well, it's a 2-story single-family home, and the bedrooms that we all sleep in are upstairs. Okay. So I guess getting ready in the morning, and anytime we need to get something like a piece of clothing or change,
right.
we have to go up the stairs. We spend most of the time on the main level where the kitchen and family room is. And then not so much people in my family, other than me, go to the basement because I have my office down there. Okay. And I need to do some things with my computer or desk.
Right.
So majority of the time is spent on the main floor.
Okay.
And going up and downstairs is kind of a minimum.
Okay. And then your office being in the basement, do you ever work from home then?
I do.
Okay. How often would you say you do that?
Maybe 1 to 2 times a month, tops.
Okay, gotcha. And then also one more thing with your habit of running. Do you usually do that outdoors, indoor on a treadmill, or what do you usually do for that? I
go outdoors when I can, and by that I mean when it's too dark to see ice.
Okay.
I have to go indoors on the treadmill we have in our basement.
Right.
But anything that isn't an icy morning, I'll go outside regardless of how cold it is.
Right. Okay, great. And then what activities do you feel the most successful in?
Physical activities, you mean?
Any activities.
Okay. Running. Playing with my kids. And I'd say running errands, like the daily errands when you go to the grocery store and the bank. Yeah.
Great. And then what kind of activities do you usually do with your kids?
We do wrestling, and by that I mean just kind of toss each other around.
Right.
Play some sports. I mean, not super organized, but we'll play dodgeball together, or throw the frisbee outside, or shoot baskets at the park. When we go to the park, sometimes I try to get on the structures like with them, but it can sometimes get a little tight.
Right.
And I just don't want to climb up to the slides.
Right. Oh, that makes sense. And then you obviously value being physically active. Is that something that you want to instill in your children as well?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I played my fair share of video games growing up, but the available media now was nothing like then. So I definitely got my exercise. I love getting on my bike and biking to my friend's house, and I want our kids to definitely do that as well.
Mm-hmm. And then, do you have any like short-term or long-term goals right now that you're working towards?
I always try to run 1 to 2 marathons a year.
Okay.
And so far I've done that the last 10 years. I hope to keep on doing it. I mean,
congratulations.
Thanks. It's not as fast as, when I was 25, but it's still something that I always have something to look forward to, if you will.
Yeah. And then do you see any barriers in achieving this, or any supports you may have in accomplishing this goal?
An injury, of course, like some type of tendinitis or muscle issue, and family obligations, like if a kid is sick or I can't train as much, and work obligations, kind of being those hurdles.
Gotcha. When you say that your family is supportive of you achieving this?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Great. And then have you seen like a change in your occupations as you kind of like change through your stages of life?
Yeah, I used to be able to, I don't know, when the kids were the twins especially, when they were really small, I could go on very little sleep and broken amounts of sleep.
Right.
Just because the adrenaline and I was younger, I was able to function. Now I can feel it when I don't get at least 6 hours of sleep. 7 is optimal for me.
Right.
And I can kind of feel that on the train ride. I get a little, like maybe I should try to steal a nap. And then I'll start dragging in maybe around 4 o'clock before I could just go through the whole day on very little sleep.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense. And then at this stage of your life that you're in now, what are the things that you consider to be most important to you?
Raising my kids well, into good people, being in a happy marriage, so working on that with my wife, and I'd say staying healthy as I'm starting to feel age, even though I'm still in my 30s, but it doesn't feel like it did in my 20s.
Right. Maintaining health, for sure. All right, well, you mentioned your wife. Does she work? Are you guys able to spend time together during the weekdays?
Yeah, so she works. We do spend time together on the weekdays, but it's usually with kids in the background or around us. Alone time is when they're asleep on weekdays, but on weekends we do try to set aside time when they're asleep to talk and do things, and of course the occasional date night.
Right. Awesome. Well, I think that's it for me. Do you have any questions for me?
I don't.
Okay, great.
This was fun.
Awesome. Well, it was nice meeting you.
Same here.
Thank you so much.